Hello everyone, this is Herton and let's get started. Our lesson for today is about enthalpy. Many chemical and physical changes occur at constant atmospheric pressure and involve heat transfer and work. So in other words, most reactions around us happen under constant atmospheric pressure, like reactions in an open beaker or burning fuel in air. In these processes, heat can be released or absorbed, thus the heat transfer, and work may occur, especially when gases expand or contract. So to describe heat flow under these conditions and to keep track of the heat flow under constant pressure, we use enthalpy, symbolized by H. So for example, when fuel burns and release heat to the surroundings, the enthalpy change tells us how much heat is released. Enthalpy is equal to internal energy plus pressure times volume. Since internal energy, pressure, and volume depend only on the current condition of the system, enthalpy also depends on the state or the current state of the system, not on how the system got there. Thus, they are all state functions. Now let's look at pressure volume work, which is the type of work most common in chemical reactions involving gases. So enthalpy helps account for energy changes when both heat and work are involved. So this is why enthalpy is useful because it already includes the effect of both heat transfer and work. Instead of tracking heat and work separately, enthalpy lets us focus mainly on heat changes at constant pressure. And in reactions open to the atmosphere or in an open systems, the usual kind of work is mechanical work from gases expanding or contracting, thus the change in volume. Because when a gas forms or changes volume, it pushes against the atmospheric pressure, and that counts as work. So for example, when zinc reacts with hydrochloric acid, as we can see in this figure, you have the zinc here, and then you have the sulfuric acid inside the flask. After the reaction, hydrogen gas will be formed or produced. So as the gas forms, it expands and pushes the piston upward, which shows that the system is doing work on the surroundings, which shows that the system inside the flask is doing work on the surroundings or the outside. So work associated with expansion or compression of gases is called pressure volume work. And again, pressure volume work happens whenever a gas expands or is compressed. At constant pressure, we calculate this work using the equation W equals negative P delta V. Pressure is always positive, and delta V tells us how the volume of the system changes. So when a gas expands, the volume increases. So delta V is positive and W or work is negative. This means that the system is doing work on the surroundings. If gas is compressed, delta V is negative and W is positive, which means surroundings are doing work on the system. When we use the equation W equals negative P delta V, the units we get are pressure times volume. In chemistry, this is usually kilopascal liters or kPa times L. And since work is a form of energy, we want the final answer to be in joules. Luckily, the conversion is very simple. You just need to remember that 1 liter kilopascal is equal to 1 joule. So if your work comes out in kilopascal liter, you can directly write it in joules. No extra math needed. Now let's apply the concepts that we have learned in sample exercise number 1. A fuel is burned in a cylinder equipped with a piston. The initial volume of the cylinder is 0.250 liters, and the final volume is 0.980 liters. If the piston expands against a constant pressure of 136.8 kilopascals, how much work in joules is done? So as we can see here in the problem, we are given an initial volume which is 0.250 liters and a final volume which is 0.980 liters, from which we can calculate the delta V. We're also given the pressure P, which is equal to 136.8 kilopascals. From the following given, we are asked to calculate the work or W. And again, The equation W equals negative P delta V allows us to calculate the work done by the system from the given information. So at first, we will calculate delta V, which is V final minus V initial. The V final is 0.980 liters minus the V initial, which is 0.250 liters. And that is equal to 0.730 liters. And using that delta V and the given pressure, we can substitute them in the formula. So we have negative times the pressure, which is 136.8 kilopascal, multiplied by the change in volume, which is 0.7 liters. And the answer is negative 99.8 joules. So as we can see, the units are the requested ones for energy, which is the joule, and the negative sign is consistent with an expanding gas doing work on its surroundings. Now you can pause the video and do our practice exercise number 1. So in continuation, at constant pressure, which is how most reactions occur in the lab, the change in enthalpy or delta change is connected to both internal energy and volume change. Mathematically, we define enthalpy as internal energy plus pressure volume. So when pressure is constant, the change in enthalpy is equal to the change in internal energy plus P delta V. This is why enthalpy is useful. It already includes the energy change inside the system and the work done when the system expands or compresses. Now we can combine what we already know. Internal energy change is equal to heat plus work. And at constant pressure, work is equal to negative P delta V. If we substitute these expressions into enthalpy equation, which is this one, the work terms cancels out. So at constant pressure, the change in enthalpy is equals the heat absorbed or released by the system, or simply the heat flow. That's why we can write delta H equals Q, or the heat at constant pressure. Now, since heat at constant pressure can be measured directly, enthalpy is much more practical to work with than internal energy. So in real life, beakers, flasks, and open containers, most reactions happen at constant atmospheric pressure. Because for most reactions, the pressure volume term is very small. So the difference between delta H and delta E is usually minor. This is also why thermochemistry almost always talks about enthalpy changes, not internal energy changes. In addition, at constant pressure, if delta H is positive, the system absorbs heat. Then we call this an endothermic process. On the other hand, if we have a negative delta H, the system releases the heat and the process is exothermic. Think of the system like a bank account. Endothermic reactions make deposit. Therefore, energy goes in. On the other hand, exothermic processes make withdrawals. Therefore, energy comes out. So enthalpy is a state function, which means its change depends only on where the system starts and where it ends, not on the path taken. This does not contradict the fact that heat is not a state function, because the equality applies under specific conditions. Again, heat itself is not a state function. So this doesn't mean heat suddenly becomes path independent. The equality delta H equals the Q, or the heat at constant pressure, is only true when pressure is constant. And the only work done is the pressure volume work. So delta H is always a state function, but Q equals delta H is only under constant pressure conditions. Now let's apply the concepts that we have learned in sample exercise number 2. Indicate the sign of the enthalpy change, or delta H, in the following processes carried out under atmospheric pressure, and indicate whether each process is endothermic or exothermic. So our goal is to determine whether delta H is positive or negative. Because each process occurs at constant pressure, the enthalpy change equals the quantity heat absorbed or released, or delta H is equals to QP. So we must predict whether heat is absorbed or released by the system in each process. As a review, processes in which heat is absorbed are endothermic and have a positive sign for delta H, and for those in which heat is released are exothermic and have a negative sign for delta H. So for letter A, an ice cube melts. So for this scenario, the water that makes up the ice cube is the system. The ice cube absorbs heat from the surroundings, so it melts. So delta H is positive and the process is endothermic. On the other hand, in letter B, the system is the 1 gram of butane and the oxygen required to combust it. The combustion of butane in oxygen gives off heat. So delta H is negative and the process is exothermic. Now you can pause this video to do our practice exercise number 2. In summary, when a reaction at constant pressure produces or consumes a gas, the system can do pressure volume work on the surrounding. To account for this, we use enthalpy or H, defined as H equals internal energy plus pressure volume. Under constant pressure, with only pressure volume work involved, the change in enthalpy is equal to the heat transfer at constant atmospheric pressure, where delta H is positive for endothermic processes and negative for exothermic processes. That's it for now and see you on our next video.